else.
Right, let's try this one again, shall we? So, second post-fight review for Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin. In the first video, I think I was just emotionally invested in the stoppage, the fact that I was worried for Joshua, and he got the stoppage. So, for the first time that Alexander Povetkin has ever been stopped. So, people need to really look at that context. Now, I know that there's going to be a lot of people saying, well, Alexander Povetkin, he's 39 years old, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. But he's never been stopped. Okay, he's never been stopped. He is an elite fighter. He is ranked number 3 in the world. So this is the second time that Joshua has beaten a ranked number 3 in a row. Last time was Joseph Parker. This time, Alexander Povetkin. So if he was to take on Dylan White come April 13th, if Wilder doesn't step up again, then again, he'll be taking on the number 3 ranked in the world. That's how it's going to be. Facts being, because Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, the loser will drop right away down the rankings. Okay, that's just how it happens. So anyway, so this fight, round number 1, Povetkin looked more dangerous. I mean, he pretty much did exactly what I thought he was going to do. If you guys go to my pre-fight review or prediction video, where I said that I felt that Povetkin was going to give it his all, okay? He didn't need the money. It's not like he was just looking to be on Joshua's resume and then move on from there. Get the experience of fighting Joshua at Wembley Stadium. Not at all. This was last chance saloon for Povetkin, arguably, right? Now, Povetkin can go on and carry on and maybe get back into contention for this one. There's no reason in the world why he can't, because he still looked dangerous. I mean, real deadly. And he was flying through with those devastating left hooks, right hooks, and uppercuts as well. And a couple of them did get through on Joshua. Thankfully, nothing flush, but still enough to give Joshua a little bit of a worry, a little bit of a thought to say, you know what, this guy's dangerous and I need to be on my A game. And it took him a couple of rounds to kind of get into it. I think Joshua, maybe he was overwhelmed with the whole occasion because of all the pressure that's on him. As you see, you've got to remember, this is only his 22nd pro fight. Look at who he's been in the ring with. Dylan White, the number 1 in the WBC. Dominic Brazil, the mandatory for the WBC. Alexander Povetkin, former world champion, only ever been beaten by Vladimir Klitschko after Vladimir Klitschko was using dirty tactics and beat him on points. Vladimir Klitschko, Hall of Famer, 10-year reigning unified heavyweight champion of the world. He stops Vladimir Klitschko. This is an impressive resume, people. It really is. And this is what I said to people who said that Joshua was just going to walk through him, easy night's work, couple of rounds. No, not at all. I knew this. And I know that a lot of you guys did too. And I kind of hope that people are not disappointed with Joshua because he didn't get him out there earlier. Because Povetkin is dangerous. Real dangerous. And when Joshua stopped him, it's not like Povetkin was gassed, okay? Not at all. Not even close to it. Now, I think as the rounds would have went on, come round 9, 10, I think that Povetkin may have really started to slow down and maybe Joshua could have took over. But Joshua had to survive at times in this fight because Povetkin was there to knock him out. He wasn't going for a points victory. He was there to knock him out. And in the first round, Joshua looked like he got his nose broken or certainly hurt, and Joshua got stunned by it. Much like he did when Carlos Takam, when he hit him with the top of the head on the bridge of the nose. And similar kind of thing. But Joshua, he kind of rode it. And round number 2, he had to, again, almost go into retreat because Povetkin, he wasn't frightened of Joshua's punches, not at all. He really wasn't. But as Joshua said after the fight, he knew that Povetkin was strong in the head, so he'd go for the body. A jab here, a jab there. It slows you down. It's the Floyd Mayweather method. And that's pretty much what Joshua was doing. And it wasn't until, for me, end of round number 3, that Joshua really started to get on top of it and started to find his range, get a bit confident. But as soon as he started like smiling and talking to Povetkin, Povetkin would crack him. So it got Joshua focused again. And that's what Joshua's going to have to learn. You stay switched on from beginning to end, because anybody in the heavyweight division, whether people think on paper, because again, you know, we can talk about the whole paper thing because people say that Joshua beat Klitschko, so therefore he should find Povetkin easy because Klitschko beat Povetkin, what, 5 years ago? Doesn't work that way. This isn't Mortal Kombat. This isn't Shang Tsung. Okay, you don't get the souls. You don't do anything like that. This isn't Highlander. Okay, each fight is different. And Povetkin's dangerous. Number 3 in the world. Would you pick him to get destroyed by Wilder? Probably not. Would you pick him to get destroyed by Luis Ortiz? Probably not, unless you're a real hater. You would consider them dangerous fights. Dangerous. So I know that there's going to be a lot of people out there saying that Joshua, I know he struggled and he should have got him out there sooner. No. These are just people who, for me, in my opinion, kind of want Joshua to lose. They don't want him around because they want their man to win. Maybe some are trying to be more realistic because Joshua didn't look great in this fight. And I predicted that he wasn't going to be looking too good in this fight because he didn't fight smaller opponents too well. If 6'2" is small. Now, the reason that I said that was because if you look at him against Takam and against Joseph Parker, he didn't look comfortable. And I felt that he wasn't going to look comfortable against Povetkin. Joshua annihilates taller fighters. That's why I said that put Wilder in the ring with him, Joshua blitzes him. Because he's easier to hit and hit flush, so he can lean back. He doesn't have to lean forward and punch down at times. So that's why I was very, very confident of him beating Wilder had Wilder has signed a contract that he agreed to for 15 million. But ultimately that fight didn't happen and Joshua had no choice but to take on Povetkin. A fight, and again, let's be real, Wilder didn't want Povetkin. Wilder used that excuse to duck the fight, and that was proved in court as well with the whole PD thing. So anyway, Alexander Povetkin, dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Right the way up until Joshua was starting to really get into his groove and come like around number 7, Povetkin seemed to get a second wind. You know, he started bouncing again because for maybe round 6, he looked like a little bit flat-footed and maybe he was starting to tire a little bit. But round number 7, he got his energy back and he was going for Joshua again. And Joshua hit him with a straight left jab on a couple of occasions. And Povetkin just seemed to just like get stunned almost by it. Not like badly hurt, but stunned by it. I don't know whether he hurt his nose, in which case he had water in his eyes. I don't know what it was, but Povetkin just seemed to go into like retreat mode. And then Joshua hit him with a left hook, which literally stunned Povetkin to his boots. And Joshua followed up with a big right, and Povetkin goes down. And he goes down pretty hard as well. He tries to stumble back up, and he slips on the bottom rope. And at that point, as I said in the previous video, I thought that was it. I really did. But either way, he just manages to make it up, just in the nick of time. And the referee is telling him to put his hands up, come towards him. And Povetkin is like leaning into the referee, almost putting his head on the referee's head. Like that. And I'm like, stop the fight, man. He's done. So for me, I think Povetkin took a bit more punishment because the referee should have stopped that fight. And Povetkin just got annihilated. In that very moment, very, very quick, Joshua hit him. The referee stepped in as Povetkin was falling to the ground again. So listen, Povetkin is a real warrior. I said that he was going to be. And Anthony Joshua, he's also a warrior. He can take a punch. He really can. Now, this was not a perfect performance by Joshua. As I said, 22 fights. That's not a lot. It really isn't a lot, is it? 22 fights after only 43 amateur fights as well. Unified champion. He's now got Alexander Sasha Povetkin on his record. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, of course, after the fight, they were asked Joshua, who do you want next? And Joshua does his usual response of, well, who am I fighting next? And then I'll talk about them. Because Joshua, he doesn't like talking too much about other fighters unless he knows he's going to be fighting them next. There's no guarantees with Wilder. Wilder, he's going to talk about Joshua through the build-up of Fury. Hence the reason why Wilder and Fury announced their fight late last night, 24 hours, to try and get a little bit of the limelight. Help sell their fight. Listen, there's nothing wrong with it. If you can get away with it, you do it. But Joshua is not going to talk about these guys too much unless he literally asked the question about them. Then he's going to have to respond to it. But listen, Dylan White was in the crowd. He was doing the punditry work for Sky Sports, and Sky Sports kept him away because he knew that Dylan would get into the ring and he will get into Joshua's face. Not in a nasty way, but he will square off against him, and he will say some words, and he would shake his hand. Listen, okay, we all know that Dylan will fly off on the deep end, but no, he wouldn't have done that tonight. He would have just stood there in front of him, congratulated him, said a few words, and said, I'll see you in April. But Sky Sports didn't want that. Much like, you see, the Wilder fans will say, well, they didn't let Wilder in the ring. Well, they didn't let Dylan White in the ring either. So, anyway, good fight. Very interesting fight. Joshua does have some things to work on. That is for sure. I felt he was a little bit flat-footed at times and got hit a bit too easy at times. So, I don't know. I think if you put him in there with Dylan White, he needs to be a lot sharper than what he was tonight. And of course against Wilder in that as well. And against Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury was to get past Wilder. But overall, good performance, and I'm so happy, so happy that Anthony Joshua gets the victory. I didn't care how he got it. I didn't care if it was an ugly fight. I didn't care if it was a boring snooze fest. As long as he got the win. That's all I cared about. And to stop him, fantastic. Congratulations, Anthony Joshua, the unified heavyweight champion of the world. Click that thumbs up, subscribe, catch you all on the next video.